Oh boy. This is it, folks. The water temple. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've kind of put off doing this recording for a while because this is an intimidating dungeon. I'm not 100% certain that I'm as prepared for this as I possibly could be. I can't lie to you. But I'm gonna do the best I can to complete this dungeon with as little backtracking as possible. The dungeon isn't really difficult per se, it's just more the fact that if you miss something, in order to get back to where you were, you basically have to go through the entire dungeon. The dungeon kind of works in this sort of a loop formation, and it's all totally linear, so you can get back to where you were, but it's only like a single direction, so this dungeon can take a very, very long time if you're not very careful. So I'll show you here. There's going to be a lot of doing this in this dungeon, switching between your kokiri boots and your iron boots. So right off the bat, we'll take off our iron boots to be able to surface here and get in. And right away, the first thing that we see in this dungeon is that the whole place is basically flooded. And so this is sort of the crux of this dungeon, is going to be getting to the proper water level that we need to. So if we swim right across here to the middle, you'll see that there's right away, let's just take out this guy here. Look at that, you can see how powerful our Biggoron sword is. That's the first time we've actually seen it in action, I think. But so we can go around, and so this is sort of how this dungeon is structured. Is it's sort of a big open space with this one pillar that kind of runs right down the middle. You see that? You can look at our map, and so you can go inside the pillar as well as on the outside, and there's all these rooms kind of adjacent to it. So and see up there, Navi is pointing out an area of interest there, but we can't get to it. But you'll see there's a Triforce symbol there on the wall. There's going to be a number of points like that in the dungeon, and I'll explain what that's all about in just a minute or two. But you can see around, like, look along the outside edge of this room here. There's all these doors and places we can go into, but they're not only locked, but at a water level that we can't even really get to. We can use our hook shot to get across here if we want, or swim across and then drag ourselves up, but we're pretty limited as to where we can go for right now. Now over here, it's kind of interesting how this is set up, because across the way here is actually, we can't tell with our map yet, but it's actually where the boss room is going to be, just over there. So it's like, how do we have access to the boss room this quickly? Well, because you'll see here our hook shot doesn't go far enough. We can't reach that target on the other side. And the water level is such that it's just low enough that we're not able to pull ourselves up onto that edge either. So we're going to have to do something in order to figure that out. But I just want to give you, before we actually get on with solving any of the puzzles in here, just give you kind of a brief little outline of what this dungeon kind of looks like, so you get the idea of how it's set up. It's a sort of a central area with all these pillars all along the side. Or I should say a pillar in the very middle with kind of arms branching out on each side, because it's like a square central room, right? So you can come in this way and this way. So this is sort of the dynamic of this entire dungeon, is putting on our iron boots and taking them off, getting into new areas where the water level is different and trying to do new things. So first thing we'll do here while we're here is we'll pull this block back. Okay. Now, that doesn't really make sense as to why we would do that like that right now. Here, what we can do is we can take our iron boots off if we want to float to the top, or oftentimes at the top of these little sections that we fall down into, there's usually going to be a hookshot target that you can look up and find. So you can drag yourself up like that. But, oh, looks like we didn't even have... we weren't even able to grab onto the ledge. It was still a little bit too high, so we are going to have to take our boots off this one time. But anyway, we were going to want to take our boots off again as soon as we got up here anyway, because again, remember, you walk very, very, very slowly. with the iron boots on. Oh, is that still too far? Yeah, just... Oh, well, there. If we walked right to the edge, we can get rid of it. I don't think I've ever shown this, how your hookshot can stun some enemies where it kills others. So, like, Tektites like that, it just stuns them momentarily. But you're going to want to hit it with either arrows or your sword to take it out. Okay, really quickly, kind of the... again, no matter how many times I've played this dungeon, there seems to always be something that I'm forgetting. So, the main strategy for this dungeon is to go in as many places as you can, do whatever you can while you're in there, and then move on. Even if it seems like it doesn't really make sense why you would be doing it at the time you're doing it. And again, the reason for that is, as I've explained, because the dungeon kind of works totally linearly. If you have to come back and do something later that you missed when you had the opportunity to do it before, it's going to take you a very, very long time. So, without further ado, let's just get on with it. I'm going to, as I said, do the best I can to remember what to do, in what order to do it in. And my apologies in advance if I forget something and there ends up being a lot of backtracking. Anyway, we use our iron boots here to sink all the way down below. Also, we should do that thing that we did before where we went into that area and pulled that block towards us. Again, that's an example right away of something that it didn't appear immediately obvious as to why we're doing that, but it'll come into play later. So here's some enemies over here. I think we can just avoid them. Oh no, actually we can get close to them. Yeah, this is a new enemy, I think. Spike. Aim for it when it retracts its spikes. So again, our hookshot is the only weapon that we can use underwater. So like that. I'll give you an example. If we get too close, the spike should come out like that. So if we hit it with our shield, like that, it goes into that retracted form, and that's when we can hit it with a hookshot. Also, you can also hit it with your hookshot while it's got its spikes out, and that should also cause it to clam up. Alright, if we come up this way first, I think we could sink down this way. Again, I can't necessarily remember what, if anything, there is that I want to do up this way, but again, the rule of thumb is if you can go somewhere, just go there and do everything that you can do at the time. Now here, our hookshot still can't... Oh yeah, I can reach. You gotta just kind of position yourself. Okay, now over here we can... I'm not sure if we can even necessarily get across over these teeth there. Now our hookshot isn't far enough, but even if we could get over there, we need a key to open that door anyway. But anyway, it's good to remember that that's there anyway, so we'll have to remember to come back that way. But let's see what else we can see. Take off the boots again. I haven't played it, but my understanding is in the 3DS remake of this game, they made it so that you can put the iron boots slotted to, I think, like the R button or the L button or something like that, so that you can just like really quickly swap them without having to go into your menu every single time. So it's apparently a lot easier that way. But now here, there's a crack in the floor here. What we actually want to do is put a bomb here in order to blow up a hole in that cracked floor, but we can't do that right now because this area is flooded with water and bombs do not work in those circumstances. And then here we got a locked door, we can't reach it anyway. And then up here we can't do anything there. Yeah, okay, so this is where I thought that we wanted to go, but I just wanted to kind of have a quick little look around just to kind of remind myself. I haven't been in this dungeon in a long time, so... But yeah, so this room here with the 2 unlit torches on the outside, that's actually the room you're going to want to go in. Alright. Oh, hello, who's this? Oh, you. If I'm right, Jordan? What? This person knows me? You're Jordan, aren't you? It's me, your fiance, Rudo, Princess of the Zoras. What? His expression just did what I said. I never forgot the vows we made to each other 7 years ago. What? You're a terrible man to have kept me waiting for these 7 long years. Yeah, that's right. When she gave us the Zora Sapphire, she described it as the Zora's engagement ring, and we kind of just took it, and we're like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, lady. Didn't think we'd actually be bumping into you again 7 years later, and you were going to actually confront me about my wedding vows. But now is not the time to talk about love. Okay, moving a little fast. I'm sure you've already seen it. Zora's domain, totally frozen. A young man named Sheik saved me from under the ice. Yeah, he told us that when we were in the ice cavern. But my father and the other Zoras have not yet. I want to save them all. I want to save Zora's domain. You have to help me. This is a request from me, the woman who is going to be your wife. Jeez, laying it on thick. Jordan, you have to help me destroy the evil monster in the temple, okay? Inside the water temple, there are 3 places where you can change the water level. I'll lead the way. Follow me, quickly. Okay. So she swims upwards, so that's where we want to go. So that's actually what those Triforce markings are on the walls, is that there are, as she just pointed out, there's 3 areas where we can change the water level. But the caveat about it is that each of those locations only adjusts the water level to a certain predetermined area. You can't just make the water go wherever you want it to. If you want the water level to be at a certain point, you have to go to the corresponding point that sets it to that level. And that's the reason why this temple is kind of set up to be this sort of linear loop. Is that, let's say, you know, the water level that it's at right now is at the highest point in the dungeon. But let's say you want it to be at the midpoint. What you might have to do first is travel all the way into one point in the dungeon to make it go all the way down to the bottom, and then travel forward to another point in the dungeon that you could only get to because the water was at the lowest point. And then at that point, now you can use that to raise the water to the midpoint. But then let's say you want it to go back to the bottom point. Well, first you got to go all the way up and make it go to the top again in order to have access to the water point that would allow you to bring it all the way down to the bottom. It's very, very complicated, very frustrating if you're not paying careful attention to what you're doing. So again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but it really cannot be overstated how careful you have to be. And really take your time with this dungeon. Otherwise, the amount of backtracking you're going to be doing is stunning. Okay, if you get caught underneath any of those alcoves, just readjust yourself so that you're in the tunnel, and then you can make your way all the way up to the surface. Because yeah, their area kind of narrows as you get up. But anyway, this is where you want to get up. And look right here. There's the first area where we can adjust it. First, just before we do that, we're going to go into this room and take care of some business in here. All right. You can see there how, again, that was an example of how you can shoot it with your hookshot too, to make the spikes retract. And you're probably going to want to use your hookshot anyway, because the moment you get close, the spikes just stick out again anyway. So you can use, I recommend using the shield to make them drop their guard, and then using the hookshot to take them out. It works the same as an arrow, and this way you don't, waste ammo, obviously. But I think this should be the map. Yep, there we go. So this will give you a better idea of what the temple looks like. So you can see throughout this whole temple is that one pillar room in the middle, with the square room running up the center, and then all these rooms kind of branching off of the side. But okay, so now that we've got that, we'll come back out here, and now we will readjust the water level so that we can actually start accessing more areas that we couldn't before. All you do is you just approach the Triforce marking on the wall, take out your Ocarina, and play Zelda's Lullaby. It is that simple. But again, as I said, the water levels are predetermined by the spot. So every time we play Zelda's Lullaby at that particular Triforce location, the water level will always be dropped to the very bottom. So that's what just happened. So now we can drop down. Curiously, we don't actually take any damage if we drop all the way down without rolling forward. But, okay, so in this room here, in order to get into here, we got to light these torches. So we can either use Din's Fire, or if we want, we can kind of line it up and just shoot a bow. Or, shoot a bow. Yeah, throw the whole bow right through the fire. It burns up on you. Oh. But yeah, they only stay lit independently for so long before they go out, so you got to kind of be quick about this here. There we go. They'll stay lit properly if you manage to light them both, but just one at a time. You have a limited amount of time. Of course, if we raise the water level, then the flames will be snuffed out again, but it's okay. We shouldn't need to come back into this room again after this anyway. Oh, these guys here, Shell Blade. Its internal muscle is its weak point. Okay, these enemies, I've seen a lot of walkthroughs and Let's Plays of this game, and for some reason these enemies cause a lot of players a lot of problems. It's really difficult to explain, but there's just a certain angle that you have to hit them at with your hook shot in order to get them. Basically, you got to hit them right at the right angle and right at the right moment. So the right moment is basically the moment that they open their mouths, and the angle is basically just kind of off of center. For some reason, if you try to hit them dead on, they'll deflect the attack. If you kind of get it at just a little bit of an angle, and then see how they kind of center themselves, though, to like always be facing you. But it helps if you're kind of moving with them a little bit, so we'll approach very slowly, and then right then, like immediately, as soon as they open their maw like that, is when you want to let loose, right, like that. If you miss and they deflect your attack, it's okay, just drop your hook shot. See, like, you can't penetrate their shell, that's why you gotta wait for them to open up. If you miss, just hit Z to drop your Z targeting, and then hold your shield out. They'll do sort of this charge attack at you here. You know what, maybe it's better if I even just show you. I'll show you here. I'll purposely take too long. See that? Yeah. Oh, well, I took a little bit longer than I thought, but I guess maybe I got a little bit lucky there, because normally they don't make it quite so easy on you. Anyway, the point is that they close up again, they spin around, and then they do this lunge attack at you, so you're going to want to make sure to raise your shield in time. Then once they bounce off your shield, they'll kind of settle, and then you're going to want to walk back a little bit to maintain that level of distance between you, and then try again with your hook shot. Anyway, we found our first small key. Exit this area. Now we could come back down this way. Remember, we were looking up in here before, and there was that area I told you with the pointed out with the cracked floor. So we can bomb this floor. And I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure if there's anything that we actually have to do in here right now. But like I said, rule of thumb: if you can go somewhere, then go there, just to make sure that you take care of business while you're there. Alright, these narrow corridors are really tricky with these spike guys, so make sure that you don't screw this up. You want to let loose with that hook shot the very second they open up. Alright. If we take our boots off here at the end of the corridor, then we can float up top. Okay. And then here, if we step on this floor switch here, it raises the water level just enough for us to get up on top of this pillar. This is a rare example of a point in the dungeon where it's not actually raising the water level throughout the whole dungeon, though. It's only raising the water level within this specific room. Once we go out back to the main lobby of the temple, we'll find that it's back to... or it was at the level that we left it when we entered this area. Anyway, you'll also notice too that sometimes when we raise the water level, these serpentine, these serpent-looking statues, they get raised with the water level, and when we raise them, it reveals a hookshot target underneath them, so we can use them to make our way up onto ledges that we couldn't get to normally. And if we come up this way here, there's a switch on the other side of this gate here. So what we can actually do to hit that switch is if we charge up our sword and do a spin tack, we can actually hit the crystal switch through the gate, and that will cause it to rise. And that's the only reason we're coming this way, is to grab ourselves this gold Skulltula here. So again, this is, technically speaking, is an optional area. Nothing really to do as far as the dungeon goes, but... again, we're on a quest to get all gold Skulltulas, so for our sake, we want to come this way. That's all that entire area was about, apparently. Alright, moving on. So sink all the way down here again. That's another thing. While you're sinking, you can't actually move. You can't even, like, position yourself or aim yourself at all. Once you're sinking, you're just sinking. If you want to reposition yourself before you get all the way to the bottom, you're going to have to take your boots off, and that will, of course, cause you to start rising again. But that's the only way to do it. Alright. Out of here. Now we're going to we got a key so we can access the entrance to the pillar. Whoa, that was close. First we're going to come up this way. And here we got a block we can push. So we shall do so. And just keep pushing until we can't anymore. There we go. And we'll drop down. Again, I don't remember exactly what's here, but we'll come down this way to investigate. It's funny, all of the dungeons in this game I know like the back of my hand, but the water temple is the only one that throws me through a little bit of a loop. Like, things obviously look familiar and I remember things while I'm there, but it's so easy to get yourself turned around and forgetting the proper order. Okay, so this is an example of a room here where there's nothing down there and it's basically just a dead end with no way out. So the only way across here, and there's not even any hookshot targets for us to zip ourselves across here. First, let's take out that Tektite on the other side. But we got one of these crystal switches. So what we can do is if we hit the crystal switch, temporarily this water spout shoots upward and we can actually jump across that like it was a platform. And we'll find a number of points in this dungeon like that. And here you can see on the other side, we can use our hook shot on that target to get ourselves across. Alternately, we could shoot across with our hook shot or an arrow if the hook shot wasn't long enough to reach. And then we could get across the water stream that way. But and if we come in here, and this is interesting, this area here has got this current kind of swirling in a circle here. So if we jump in the water here, you'll see that it wants to kind of move us in this whirlpool kind of a movement here. So what we'll do is equip our iron boots so that we can sink down, and also because we're so heavy, not only do we sink, but also we're able to fight against the current. The current won't drag us. And let me see here. Now up there is where we want to get, but this is too steep for us to be able to walk up. So actually I think what we want to do is take our iron boots off and then walk right here and now equip our boots. So then we can sink right on top like that. And the reason we want to be there is so that this way we have a clear line of sight to both the crystal that's hiding in the serpent's mouth here, as well as straight over to this hookshot target. And we want to be able to access both of them very quickly because that crystal switch opens up a gate, but the gate only stays open for so long. So we got to use that target to get over here real quickly. Okay, now the gate closed behind us, but that's not a problem. Oh, you see that? We had a couple shots there, but you gotta wait for that angle to just be right. Again, it takes a little bit of practice sometimes if you're not used to that enemy. But the gate is closed behind us, that's fine. We'll just take our iron boots off to let us up into this area, and here's another crystal switch. So we hit that one, and then the gate will raise again. But anyway, the whole reason why we wanted to come this way is to grab ourselves another small key. Again, there's nothing more frustrating in this game, specifically when it comes to dungeons, than getting a small key and thinking, all right, I got a key, now I can get further into a dungeon. So then you go to an area where you knew that you needed a key in order to enter, and then you get in there only to find that you have to turn around almost immediately because it turned out that you needed 2 small keys in order to fully proceed through that whole area. So yeah, don't forget this this area here. All right, if we just kind of swim around the edges here, we should be able to grab the ledge right here. There we go. There's, of course, another hookshot target there on the wall if we needed that. It didn't even see us coming. I almost feel bad about that. Like I said, you can use an arrow if you want on that crystal switch again. Alright. You can see what I mean. Like, we haven't even been in this temple all that long, and how many times have we switched boots? It does get tedious. But it is what it is. Oh, okay, this is an example here where we're actually going to want to leave our boots on, apparently, because taking our boots off, the water level here doesn't go high enough for us to be able to get out. So we're going to want to use our hook shot on a target up there. That's actually will get us to the ledge. There we go. Now we can take them off again so that we can run. Oh my goodness. On, off, on, off. Oh. Oh, I forgot. See, that's a prime example of how because we're using this big two-handed sword, we can't use our shield while it's equipped. We got to put the sword away, and then we can use our shield when the sword is out. I think I demonstrated that before, but yeah, so if we're not targeted, we just do this weird crouch thing, and that doesn't do anything, and then if we're Z targeted, it still doesn't do anything. It looks like we can parry, but unfortunately we can't. It's just totally for show. I think we've been down that way already. I can't remember 100%. I can't remember. Actually, why don't I just consult my map? Actually, I can't even tell which room it is because we don't have the compass yet. So, oh, right, okay. So, yeah, we've been in this room, but there's nothing doing because, yeah, I pointed this out already. I'll point it out one more time. So now we actually have a small key, so we could open that door if we wanted to, but our hookshot still can't reach that far, and that's the only way to get over those spikes on that ledge. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. For those of you that are really well acquainted with this dungeon, I apologize. I know this must be extra frustrating for you, just like probably screaming at your monitor, going, "You've already been there!" But I can't stress enough how badly you do not want to miss things in this dungeon. The amount of backtracking is crazy. Anyway, we'll finally go into this door here that will take us into the middle pillar. See, there's all these spikes here on the side, so we want to make sure not to fall down that way. And this whole pillar all the way up is all hollow like this, right? So if we position ourselves over here, we can reach that quick shot. And then over here, we can reach this hookshot target. Now, I actually don't want to exit this door. At least not just yet. And the reason being is because, well, it's a little bit complicated. But first, you can hear there's a gold Skulltula you can hear. It's actually higher up on the wall. We can't even see it from here. But we'll have to come back for it later at another time. But anyway, the point is that if we leave these rooms here, other than at the bottom, like we just entered with the small key, these other doors close behind us, and the only way to open them again is to use Din's fire or another fire technique in order to light a torch, and that will open the door again. So it's not like it's impossible to come back in, but it's just kind of a pain. Anyway, we don't want to exit anyway, because I just wanted to point that out, that that's where the exit was. But you'll see here, there's another Triforce area. So, play Zelda's Lullaby. And this will raise the water level to the midpoint. And you'll see upon doing that, that block is a floating block, so it gets raised with the water level. So that makes it easier for us to jump across now, so we don't have to use that hookshot target. But it also means that now, down below, if we put on our iron boots and sink down to where we just were, there is now a space, a hole in the floor that block was, well, blocking. And now that it has been raised with the water level, we can sink down into it. Boy, this camera angle is crappy. I think there should be one of those clam guys down here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. You never know. They do like to hide out in these narrow corridors, though. I know here, as soon as we hit this crystal switch with our hookshot, a bunch of those spike enemies are gonna drop down out of because it's gonna open up that gate. So we gotta be prepared for that. Yeah, a bunch of spike guys and a bunch of the I can't remember what the clam guys are called. Shell blades, right? Okay. So from far away, if those guys aren't gonna attack me, then fine. They're gonna let me just take them out from afar, then that's their business, I guess. Far be it from me to interfere with their death wish. Alright, now we'll take out these shell blades here. Oh! Crap. See that? That was an example of how, for some reason, the aim is just off. Got it. Right now. There you go. Alright. Now that we've defeated all those enemies, another gate on the other side will open up. Real quick, I'm going to float up here. I don't think that there's anything up here. I think this whole area is literally just a place to hold those enemies. Yeah, there's nothing up there. Yeah, it's literally just a little alcove that houses those enemies, that releases them. This is where we really want to go, though, now that we've beaten those enemies that drop down. Float up this way. And here, another small chest with another small key. Okay. Now back out the way we came. All the way down this way. You can do like a roll too. It's kind of neat seeing like him roll like that in slow motion. Though you do get a fair amount of distance from that. Okay, float all the way out here. And then back up to where we were. Alright. And now out the door and back into the main lobby room. Yeah, you can see that there, how it walks behind you. And if you want, you can use Din's fire, or you can stand over here and shoot an arrow through the flame to light that torch, and that'll open the door again. I don't really have to do this, but I'll just show you, give it a demonstration. There, by lighting that torch, see, it opens up the door and we can get back in from here, if we were so inclined. Anyway, now right here again, we got a locked door here. We got 2 small keys, so again, it's tempting to want to be like, oh, look, we can go in there, but I just want to make sure that we don't have anywhere else to go first. I can hear these Tektites jumping around. I just want to make sure that they don't ambush me. I don't even see them. Okay, so before we go into the locked door area, is it chasing me? Where the hell is it? I think it's up top. Might be chasing me around the top. Alright, I'm going to have to just learn to ignore this. Alright, first over here, we're going to shoot that eye switch there. Open up that gate on the other side. Okay, it's timed. I wasn't sure if it was going to stay permanent or not. I knew that we weren't going to be able to reach it with our hook shot, but that's okay. Oh, you son of a... You see, this is exactly what I wanted to have. I spent so long looking for him, I thought, to hell with it, I'll just ignore him now, but... God damn it. How does humble pie taste like? Tastes like shit. Alright. So we can come over here. I'm not sure if this is really the way. Obviously the way where there's the locked door is the way we ultimately really want to go, but like I've been saying, it's best to explore every area that you're able to get to while you can get there. So we can grab onto these hookshot targets like that, and then we'll go this up this way. Ah, okay, yeah, it's a good thing we came this way. That crystal switch will drop the water guard around this big chest here. But it only stays down for like a second, and it's not long enough for you to run over to here if you just hit the switch with your sword. So what you want to do is stand right in front of the chest and then just hit it with an arrow. Yeah, it stays down for like literally 1 second. If you hit it with your sword, there's just not enough time. You try running over it, the water's just going to come back up again. Alright, now we got the compass, so that's handy. And I think if we target the one in the middle, that should be the one that drops us... Oh, no. Never mind. I was going to say I think it drops us down safely, but it did the exact opposite. Dropped us directly onto the spikes. Well, learn from my mistakes. Don't use the middle hookshot target. Alright, make our way back over. Oh, ho, 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 you son of a gun. You thought you were going to get the drop on me there. It's kind of annoying. Those Tektites respawn every single time you come back to this area here. Alright, now it looks like we're done because there's no more places to go off the edge. Oh, no, maybe we didn't go. Oh, right, that was the area where we hit the ice switch with the arrow, but our hookshot couldn't reach in. So now it looks as though we've explored all of the areas on the edge, on the periphery, so now we should be able to go across here and open up that door. But don't forget, all the rooms that we already explored down at the bottom, even though we were in those areas, we weren't in those areas while the water was at this level. You see, that's one of the tricky parts of this dungeon, that it can be easy to overlook that fact. So we actually want to sink back down into here and re-explore these areas that we were just in. Now, I don't think we can really do much in there, that room that we were just going to look at, because the ledge was too high for us to grapple onto. But we'll explore the other rooms. Again, I can't really remember. I gotta be honest with you. I don't recall which areas we actually have to get into and which ones are just wasting our time. Yeah, I think this was that one where there was the floor switch where we sort of half raised the level a little bit just to get that gold Skulltula. I think this might be what that room was. Yeah, this is what it was. All right, we'll make a quick turnaround. Better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry, for sure. Okay. So, not this side and not the other side. But at least now that we've got the compass, it should be easier to maintain our bearings a little bit better. Okay, so, well, I know that this side here we definitely want to go with those torches. Again, that was the first room that we wanted to go down into, where we got reacquainted with Rudo. But and oh, I think this is once again that room where we can't get across. Yep. Okay. All right. So it looks like the only reason we wanted to come down here was just for a single room, but still. I especially want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, mainly for the fact that I'm recording a video. I wouldn't even really half mind if I was just playing this on my own time. But because it's for YouTube, I gotta make sure. Alright, so you'll see now, we only come up this way up to this level. See, we weren't able to reach this level before because the water level last time we were here was so much higher, it took us all the way up that tunnel up top here. But now we can get here. A crack in the wall, so we know what that means. Bomb our way through. And I think there's yet another small key in here, I think. Yep. So look at that. We needed 3 small keys before we proceeded any further. Just goes to show you how tricky this temple can be. It makes you get as much as you can before allowing you access. Alright. Now we will make our way all the way back up to where the water level was that we left off, and finally make our way through that one locked door. Where is it? Oh, other side. So you can hear those Tektites, but even with stereo sound, it's still a little bit tricky to tell where around you they actually are. But, alright. Now this here, there's nothing else on here, just that crystal switch. Alright, so this here, we want to stand right... Oops, hang on. Move out of the way because the Tektite's about to jump down. There we go. Yeah, I remember that. Whoa! Alright. I don't think our hook shot can reach from here, so we'll just hit that crystal switch with an arrow. And standing on this water platform here, that should raise us up. Oops. Man, I suck. So it'll raise us up to here. Alright. Again, it's only for a couple of seconds, so don't dilly-dally. And here we have managed to find our way up top to the third Triforce symbol. Oh. I jumped down to where we can't even see him. Coward. Alright, well, anyway. And now that we're playing our Ocarina at this Triforce symbol, this will finally return the water level to the highest point it can be, namely the point it was at when we first entered the temple. So you can kind of now maybe get a little bit of a better sense of what I was talking about before, how if you want the water to be at a certain level, you potentially have a lot of area to go through in order to get to the specific Triforce symbol that you want. But anyway, I think this is where we first entered the dungeon. Yeah, I think that's the entrance. Alright, let me see here. So there's a locked door on that side, and what's on this side? Oh. Something. Oh, I think that's where we went in and we pushed a block or something? I don't remember. I don't remember what we did. I think we, or maybe we pulled a block. I think that might have been what we did. I'm sorry, guys. I have a short memory, and just again, ordinarily in any other dungeon, yeah, this is what we did. We pulled that block towards us as far as we could. That's what we did. Yeah. Ordinarily, I wouldn't even care, but this dungeon is so notoriously confusing and frustrating that I don't even want to chance it. I just wanted to be absolutely certain. I was pretty sure, but I don't know. Maybe I should trust myself more. Alright. We will now make our way to the other side and finally into that other locked door. Whoa, what am I doing? Can't arrow my way into a target. Alright, open up this door. Okay, I think there's some keys on the sides here, yeah. Can't target them for some reason, so we'll just manual target them, whatever. And up here, you'll notice that there is a gold Skulltula on that wall, but again, it's still too far for us to do anything about. But this is an interesting room here to take note of. If we jump down this way, we've got to be careful not to fall all the way down. This platform we're on here kind of raises and lowers, and the idea here is that these platforms are gradually coming down and we've got to hook our way into them. We won't bother with that lowest one, because by the time we can reach it, it's just going to fall into the water flow. We'll try to go for this one. Alright. It's a little bit tricky to do while everything is moving, so... And you want to make sure not to linger on one platform for too long, lest you get too low to be able to reach any of the other targets above you. Oh no! Oh, that was close. Yeah, try to aim, if you can, for the top part of the target, because you can see there, even though I hooked into the target, it still didn't let me off, like, high enough on the ledge that I could actually grab it. So try to aim for the top. And you can see right here, look at that. There's another locked door right away on the other side of this room. How frustrating would that have been to come all this way only to have to turn around again, right? But, okay, so this is an interesting room here. There's the exit all the way up there. So in order to get into that alcove up top there, we're going to have to continue to raise and lower the water over and over again within this room. And we do that simply by toggling it on, up and down by hitting that switch in the middle, that crystal switch, over and over. First, we'll take out some of these Tektites here if we can. If they're far enough away, they don't even really bother with you. That close one is like, hey, you hit me, and kind of jolted him into action, but if they're far away, they just kind of skid off and don't give a crap about you. Okay, so you can see here, yeah, water level was raised, and with it, this serpent head was raised, and so now we can hit that target. And over here, you can see here, we can hit that target to bring us across, but if we do that, we won't be able to go anywhere. because that serpent head is going to be blocking us. So what we want to do first is lower the water again, which will lower the serpent head. And now we can just climb over it. And you don't want to hook into the hookshot target that's on the underside of that serpent, the one I'm standing on right now. That's actually a red herring. It looks like that's the one that it wants you to target, but it's a trick, because if you do it, like, look how the angle is. You're just going to fall down into the water again and have to climb your way back out again. So that's actually what you want to do, is go onto the one on the wall and then hop across the head there. Now we will raise the crystal here again. Oop. There we go. So that way now it raises that serpent head, so we can hook into that. And now we will lower the water again, so that way we can actually jump on top of this serpent head, and then hit the switch one more time. And now I think we need to use an arrow, because the hookshot can't reach from here, I don't think. And that will have the head raise us all the way up into that room. Alright, there we go. Relatively painless. And there's a like over on that side of the spikes. This is kind of weird. Call it a limitation of the N64, I guess, but it looks like you can shoot right between those spikes, but you kind of can't, actually. The way that the collision works is that the spikes stops it. So you have to kind of shoot a little bit above in order to hit that like. And that also is a little bit counterintuitive, because normally you can't even hit likes like that. You have to aim for their base in order to hit them. But anyway. And now, the room that we are about to enter. Some people say that the constant raising and lowering of the water levels is the part that they hate the most about dungeons, but other people will say it's this room. This room is the room with the game's mini-boss. Now first, it seems like this weird, open, seemingly infinite landscape space, but it's actually an illusion, because the room is only as wide as you'll see our mini-map is showing. It just looks like that. But what we want to do is, if we pass by this tree, and then we run all the way to the exit, we'll see we can't even exit. But then upon returning to the tree, the mini-boss will appear, and look what is waiting for us. Whoa, as soon as we target him, Dark Jordan, conquer yourself. So it's sort of like the Shadow Link, this game's version of Shadow Link, and he will mimic all of your moves. This is one of the reasons why I recommended in my last video to get Biggoron Sword. Biggoron Sword is going to come in very, very handy in this fight, because you actually have a little bit of an advantage on him if you're using Biggoron Sword instead of the standard Master Sword, because you can do that. Normally, if you try doing a stab attack like that with the Master Sword, he'll do this crazy maneuver where he'll actually jump up. You can see how he just parries all of your attacks like that. The Biggoron Sword, though, gives him a run for his money. But with the Master Sword, he's really kind of a pain in the ass. And he keeps so close to you that you can't even really do jumping attacks. Like, I'll show you an example here. If I try to do a jumping attack, he just avoids it, right? Sometimes he'll even, just kind of hop to the side and then do his own little attack. And actually, the more damage we do to him, the more aggressive he gets. And you can see, he gets really frustrating, too. Like, arrows and stuff like that, he's just really hard to hit him. So this is really much a battle of attrition. You just gotta kind of keep at it. There's not really a secret to it. You just kind of keep hitting him over and over again. Now, this is another reason why I recommend to get Din's Fire, if you have it ahead of time. And then also make sure you've got the extended magic meter, and maybe even if you don't feel totally confident in yourself, you can bring some either green or blue potion in some jars with you along the way, in order to keep your magic levels boosted, because Din's Fire also is useful in this battle too. If you wait till he gets really close, there's not really a whole lot that he can do to get out of its range. He uses his shield to kind of try to block it, and it blocks a little bit of the initial blast, but then it'll still have a little bit of a residual hit on him. There we go, we finally got him. Also, I think I've read before that it's actually, look at that, now that we've defeated him, the illusion gets dropped. That's so cool. Turns out we were in a finite space all this time. Yeah, I've heard that it's actually easier to beat him if you don't use Z targeting. Apparently, if you Z target him, that just makes it easier for him to be able to counter your attacks 1 for 1. But also, what you can try doing is you can try laying some bombs. It's easy for him to avoid them, but every once in a while you might be able to catch him off guard and he'll get caught in a blast. Also, Deku Nuts can help sometimes with stunning him. He can usually avoid them or even block them sometimes, but if you keep throwing them in real rapid succession, again, you might get lucky and get him caught off guard with one and stun him long enough. Also, another tactic is sometimes you won't be able to really hit him with the Megaton Hammer, especially because of how heavy it is. It swings even slower than the sword, so he'll just hit you before you hit him. But if you try to, again, not target him but ground pound near him, if you get lucky enough to pull that off, that can damage him as well. Also, alternatively, I've used some Bomb Chew in the past before. I haven't really used, outside of like the episode I did eons ago when we did that Bomb Chew bowling. Outside of that, I haven't really used any of my Bomb Chew out in the rest of the world, but that's potentially an opportunity to use it there too, is to get him against, because you know, it just targets him and makes a beeline for him, and that's basically what he does. You target him, he targets you, and he'll just come right at you, right? You could see how he was always trying to narrow the gap between you. But anyway, that battle is, it's you know what, I don't think it's as hard as it looks, but then again, if you didn't get Biggoron Sword, if you're just whacking away at him with Master Sword and you're Z targeting and you're just hitting B over and over and over again, even as hard and as fast as you can, you still might be amazed at how hard it is to land a hit, and so that can get very frustrating. And again, as I said, with the Master Sword, if you try to do that forward, the Z target, and then forward B stab attack, like that, right? He'll do this thing where he'll jump up on the air and stand on your blade, and for a moment you'll be kind of frozen there, and he gets to just basically have his way with you and slaps you with his sword, and then like backflips off and then vanishes and reappears somewhere else. So with the Biggoron Sword, that's one of the advantages, is that you can do that because of its length, and he doesn't have enough time to jump up. But anyway, so there's the mini boss, and now finally what this whole dungeon is all about is getting this item, and our life is going to become so much easier after this. You found the Longshot. It's an upgraded hookshot. It extends twice as far. Look at that. So it literally functions exactly the same way as the hookshot. Same thing. Except, look at this. Man, look how much further it is. Oh, this is so fantastic. Look at that. That is a long-ass chain. Alright. We got a time block here, so we know what that means. We play the Song of Time. And that will get the block to disappear. Okay. And we'll drop down into here. And you can see the serpentine-shaped room we're in. Jordan, be careful, don't get swallowed by the vortexes. So yeah, you can see in this room, we can jump into the water here and allow ourselves to get pulled along by the current a little bit, but then there's going to be these whirlpools with holes that are going to want to suck us down into them. So for those areas, like here, if we can't fight against the current, it might be a smart idea to temporarily put on our iron boots, and then we can walk away from them. Right there, there's a gold Skulltula up on the wall there. Don't overlook that one. You can see how much further away that we can get them now with the Longshot. So some of these gold Skulltulas that we couldn't even reach before are now going to become reachable. Right, this is kind of a frustrating area here because we can use the iron boots to keep ourselves from getting sucked into these vortexes, but as you can see, the surrounding ground is so steep that it doesn't really want to let us get up onto there. So what we kind of want to do is get up kind of as close to the ledge as we can, then take the boots off just so that we can swim to the ledge here, and that'll be good enough. So that's kind of an example of how the iron boots can actually work against you. There's a fairy in that pot there, but we've got all 4 of our jars are already filled up. Oh, here comes that fairy back again. And let's see here. We can use our Longshot up on that target, bring us over on here. And then from here, we can now target that eye switch. And now that gate opens, and we can use our Longshot on that chest before the gate closes behind us. And look at that. We got another small key. I think that might be the last small key. Not 100% certain, but I think that's the last one. And look in here. We've been in this room before. Okay, remember that room? Only now, we've got the Longshot, so we can actually target that target on the wall. Look how long this chain is. Zip all the way down here to get out of this room. We've already completed everything there is to do in this room, so we can just bypass that entirely. And there's, once again, that Tectate that I always feel bad about killing. Just get him right in the back, doesn't even see it coming. Alright. So now... So now what we're going to want to do, put on our iron boots, and now go once again to that room that I keep going to over and over again, and going, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot, we can't do anything yet in this room because our hookshot isn't able to reach. But we sure as heck are able to reach now, aren't we? With our nice long shot, we can get all the way across here. Not bad. Enter into this room here, and look at this. We got all these blue Tectites here. Let's see if we can take out some of these guys all in a row. I'm not sure if they're lined up well enough, but in fact, come to think of it, I'm not even really sure if arrows do go through enemies like that anyway. But it would have been pretty cool. Oh, they do go through some enemies. I remember there was an episode or two where I was able to shoot multiple keys in one shot. But I guess Tectites are a lot hardier than keys are. Still though, when you take out two enemies all lined up like that with a single arrow shot, it's so satisfying. Alright, so we just gotta avoid these boulders. Obviously it goes without saying, and you'll see they come from different directions on different sides of the room here. And be mindful of those vortexes there as well. And if it looks like you're going to get sucked in, and try to fight against this current here. You can always equip your iron boots too if you need. Yeah, we can't even fight against this current. It's getting to be kind of a pain in the ass, so I'll just sink down here. I'm going to wait for another one of those boulders to roll by to make sure I've got enough time. Alright, now walk in, and now get nice and close, nice and snug up against the ledge. And now we can get up onto the ledge, fight against the current a little bit there, just to make sure that we don't get swept all the way down to the left. Okay, and in this room here, okay, I think here, yeah, we're just going to want to jump down into here. And are these stingers, I think? Yeah, whoa! Yeah, we've encountered these guys before in Lord Jabu-Jabu's belly. Yeah, we can even hit them from with arrows while they're in the water. That's pretty sweet. But, alright. This is an interesting room. We're going to need bombs for this room. This wall right here, that's a little bit oddly colored, as well as that wall over there with the crack. Both of these walls can be bombed, and we're going to want to do that. Bomb this wall here. And first what we'll do is we'll go in here, and you'll see there's a block here. We're going to push this block as far as we can. Go. And then come back around this way, hop over this way, and bomb this wall. And the reason for this is because we want to be able to pull that block through here. And ultimately the reason is because we actually want to push it off this platform down into the water in such a way that it's going to permanently hold down a force switch that's underneath the water. We need something heavy enough to keep it held down, so the block will do that job. You see how we ran around the other side again so that we can push it from this side. Because even though we can pull it, we can't pull it all the way off the edge without us ourselves falling off the edge, so we've got to push it off. I'm going to do so like this. Push it right down into there. Now that that hits that switch, it will raise the water level high enough for us to be able to now reach this ledge. And now we can exit the room. I can't remember what was in those pots over there that we missed. Maybe probably bombs, actually, come to think of it, because we needed bombs in order to solve that puzzle. But here across the way here, we'll take out those Tektites waiting for us. And again, it's going to be one of these types of rooms here. Again, like that room we saw before where we had to hit the switch to, or in this case, we'll just step on it, to raise those water jets and jump across the water jets. Only now there's going to be 3 instead of just the 1 that we've encountered before. If we accidentally fall down here, we'll just have to use our Longshot on a target on the opposite ledge to make our way back up again and give it another shot. Other than that, there's nothing actually down there. At least I'm pretty sure there's nothing down in that room. Let me retrace my steps now. There's nothing in that room. Okay. Whoa, okay. So first, be careful of those boulders falling down. I want to give myself enough time, so I'll wait for one boulder to go down here first, and then remember to not overlook that gold Skulltula hiding behind there. And we can use our iron boots to sink down here. Okay. Now that we're in here. Whoa. Ready with your shield there. There we go. Take him out. Am I going to have to use my hook shot here again? No, we'll just take our boots off. Oh, and a locked door. Okay. So, what do we want to do here? So I was actually wrong earlier when I said that I thought we were done as far as the small keys go. There was one more that we were missing. The reason we want to go in there, though, is because I believe that's where the boss key is. So let me consult my map here. Okay, second floor. Second floor is where that other treasure chest is that we're looking for. Okay, I'm sorry about this, folks. You see, this is a prime example of what I was talking about here. See, I got a little ahead of myself here. I was just so excited to be able to go somewhere that I couldn't go before because I had my handy-dandy Longshot. But I didn't think to explore all the areas that I was able to. However, whoa. I don't think that we have to move too far, though. I think it's just over here was where we want to go. Let me consult my map again here. Where the heck am I? I'm in the middle there, and I want to go to the bottom. But on the second floor. Oh, right. Okay. I remember exactly where this is now. Let me think. What's the best way to do this? I think what I want to do... What I want to do is I want to get to that point where there was that ice switch up ahead. Remember, there was an ice switch that I shot, but then I was like, oh, but my hook shot doesn't reach across. Anyway. I want to get up to the top. So I think what I want to do here is... Actually, I want to lower the water level back to the bottom again so that I'll be able to... Or maybe I don't. What level's the water at right now? That's the problem, right? Like, if it's at the top level, then I should be fine. But if it's at the mid-level, then I'm going to be stuck. Okay, it is at the top level. Okay. I think I might be okay then. Or maybe I do want it at the mid-level. Where's the ice switch? Is the ice switch at the mid-level? If that's the case, then I'm going to have to readjust the water. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about? How confusing it can be sometimes. Luckily, there's not really a backtracking exactly, except for that room that we went in that we actually want to come back out of. But if we hadn't done that and had done what we're supposed to do here properly first, we still would have had to have done this anyway. So it's fine. It's not a problem. First, actually, I want to do this. I want to come up this way here, just and then use our boots again like this, just to make sure that I did everything properly here. I still don't think that there's anything more that I can do here. Like I think I did what I'm supposed to do. I think. This might just be an exit, though. Oh, I don't even... Oh, God. I'm so turned around, I don't even know where I'm going now. No, okay, that's just taking me back where I don't want to go. Okay. I do know where I'm supposed to go, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something. You see, this dungeon's like 2 levels of frustrating. There's, if you're not prepared, then you end up missing a bunch of stuff. But then there's the other type of frustrating where you start being so paranoid about missing stuff that you start guessing yourself constantly and going for stuff as though you're missing it when you're really not. Alright. This is where we want to go. Again, that room lined with the 2 torches. This was the room where we first were reacquainted with Rudo, and again what we did before, we were able to get all the way up top. Isn't that funny too? Remember how Princess Rudo led us up this way? She was like, follow me and I'll show you how to, you know, the way to go to get out of this dungeon or whatever, but then she kind of disappeared. We never saw her again after that. I wonder what happened to her. Anyway, up top, here we go, where the Triforce symbol is, the first one that we encountered. Play our Ocarina here in order to lower the water all the way to the bottom, and we have to be able to do that so that we're able to gain access into the pillar in the center of the temple, so that way we can get to the Triforce symbol that lets us raise the level to the midway point. And we want to do that in order to get to the last small key that we need. A lot of steps that all have to be done in a specific order. Other temples seem like they're a little bit more forgiving than this one. I don't know. But what's nice about this now, too, though, is because now that we've got the Longshot, we can zip all the way up here. And we can even go, if we want, I think, even higher up than we could before. Yeah, right here. So we can get all the way up here without even needing to raise the water level. We want to get up here at least anyway so that we can reach a gold Skulltula that we couldn't before, right there. Again, because it's so high up and so far away on the wall. Oh. Go. And, let me think here. Yeah, let's jump over across this way. And then into here. We don't even need to raise the water level. We'll just come in this way. And find where that eye switch is. Where's the eye switch? There it is. Right here. Hit the eye switch. And then quickly with our Longshot, hit that target all the way on the other side. There we go. Now we can get in here and push this block. And there was a part earlier where we had to pull the block. You remember, this is where we actually came in from this side. Yeah, we dropped down here from above, and all I was like is, we just gotta pull this block. And it seemed like there was no reason for why we were doing it, but I was like, you just gotta remember to do that though. And that's the reason we had to pull it, is so that it would be in line with this corridor now that we're coming down this way, so that now we can push the block out of the way in order to be able to gain access to this room in here where the final small key is. Alright. Now that I think about it, I think I actually would like to raise the water level, though, because I want to re-enter one of the rooms that I entered before. Not because I need to go through that area just because I want to enter just the entrance section, because there was another gold Skulltula that we encountered but we couldn't reach. So I think what we're going to want to do... Yeah, see, now you can see how those hookshot / long shot targets come into play, is because the water level isn't always where you want it to be. So you can't just jump in the water and then swim to the other side. But, where's a torch? I want to go back into the pillar here. Oh, there isn't a torch on this side? There's no entrance on this side? Okay, apparently not. Nuts to that. Okay, well... I think, you know what, though? In fairness, I've got to come up this way again and raise the water levels anyway in order to get access to the boss room. So, I'll worry about it then. I'm not gonna waste more time than I need to. Okay, so now we know what we're doing, and we're adequately equipped with all of the materials we need, finally. Alright. Sorry about that little detour. Should have remembered that I had to do that first. But, at any rate, and I think maybe what I'll try here too is just for the sake of conserving arrows, I'll just take out the Tektites on this side of the room. Oh. Luckily, those Tektites can't reach us down at the bottom, because they float on the surface there. And here we go. We'll just bypass the rest of them, again, just to zip through. And I don't think we have to resolve the puzzle in this room. Yeah, the water level is already at the height we need it at, so we can now just jump across, try to avoid those stingers. Fair enough. Alright, sweet. So that wasn't too much backtracking, that was okay. Could have been worse, could have been worse. Okay. Again, make sure that you're lining up those jumps right. It's annoying to have to keep trying that over and over again. Okay, here we go. Now we hop down here, re-equip our boots again, fall down into the section where we were. And now, whoops, ready with the shield again. There. Okay, and now we will be able to get the boss key. Excellente. Okay, so now after exiting this area, we're going to make our way all the way back to the main lobby again. We're going to gradually raise the water levels again. Along the way, I'm going to try to remember which door it was that I wanted to go into just far enough to be able to... It was the one where there was those platforms moving diagonally along the sides of the walls, remember? And you had to keep using your hookshot to get higher and higher. Whoa. We'll just run past that guy. We don't really need to fight him. Okay. Nice thing about exiting there is that it jettisons you out right at the exit to the area. So we don't have to make our way all the way across that Olympic-sized pool. Okay. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this last gold Skulltula that we need is, well, the last one. So remember, we actually want to raise the water level this time. And the reason we want to raise the water level to the midpoint is so that we're able to access the room. That will give us access to the top Triforce symbol so that we can fully raise the water in the dungeon. And we want to fully raise the water in the dungeon in order to have access to the boss room. And I think this might be the room that I want to go in first. I can't remember. No, this is not it. This is the second room we want to go in. That's the room that's going to bring us to the top. First, we want to go to the other side. That, I think is the room with the gold skull. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe we gotta go all the way to the top. I can't remember. Let me take a quick gander in here. I really wish my short-term memory was better. This would make this a lot easier. Okay. I guess I was wrong about that too. Alright, the difference is that because I was already at the top before, but I couldn't access the room because the water level wasn't at the top. So that's what the problem was. So at least we're not wasting time. Like, we did actually have to do all of this. Nope. Remember that blue Tektite's gonna jump down. And now our Longshot is far enough we don't have to waste an arrow on this anymore. Okay. Raise the water level. Oh, I really hope this is the right room. I really hope that I don't have to do any more backtracking just for a single gold Skulltula. That'd be so annoying. I think I'm right. See, this is the reason why we needed it. In order to get into those doors, we need to have that platform to be able to stand on, but it's one of those floating blocks. So if the water level isn't at this height, then we literally can't get in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, this is it. So we don't even want to go through this area. We just want to come into this room really briefly so that we can come over this way, and now we're able to reach that gold Skulltula all the way on that far wall that we couldn't get to before. And this should be it. Let's check our map, see if we got that gold Skulltula symbol. There it is. Alright. All gold Skulltulas taken care of. Make our way back into the main lobby again. And now that the water level is at the highest it can go, and we have the Longshot now, we can zip all the way across to this side of the dungeon. We got some more fairies in there if you want to pick them up. And here we go. And then we can put on our iron boots. But you can see it's a bit of a red herring. It looks like it's the type of thing where you want to put your boots on to get traction, but it's actually a deception. You actually want to do the opposite. You want to go along one side here and just make a straight line like this. And yeah, you'll climb slower than you normally would, but it's the only way to make it up. And again, you want to pick one side or the other like that. If you try to go up the middle, you'll find that you get hit very easily. Anyway, on to the boss. So, you'll see this area here. Jordan, look out. That isn't normal water over there. So there's this pool of water here in the middle with these 4 platforms and ladders leading up to them. And you'll see the whole room around the edge here is lined with these dangerous spikes. So be very, very careful not to run into them. And also there's these hookshot targets all around the edge of the room if you should need to get back to the outside of the room in a hurry. But to trigger the boss fight, all we do is literally just jump to one of these platforms. Uh-oh. Appears to be, fittingly, a water-based boss of some kind. I always love this. You get the boss's POV. It's so cool. Uh-oh. Sneaking up behind us. Huh? Whoa, that's a freaky looking thing. Giant aquatic amoeba morpha. Alright, so the deal with this boss here is it's got this nucleus kind of jumping around all over the place. Morpha, master of the water temple, it has absolute control of water. Pull out its nucleus and attack it. So this nucleus guy here is really what the boss is, but it can go in the water and summon these kind of like appendages, these sort of water-like tentacles that can come right out and then try to strike you. But if you use your Longshot and target it carefully, you can pull it right out. See, see how it moves like along left and right like that? But you can target it and pull it out. And then if you really quickly, or if you act quickly enough, you can strike it with your sword there. These parts here, it's real hard to pull it up because, yeah, in order to generate the appendage, it kind of makes this vortex. And in order to do so, it has to kind of swim around in circles like that. If you can line yourself up like that, it's a lot easier to target it. You might be able to get off another one real quick before it starts to summon another one, but nah, as soon as it starts moving in circles like that, just give up and wait for it to come out into another one of the tentacles. Make sure to give yourself enough distance so the tentacle can't reach you, and then wait until it kind of comes out above land. Grab it. If you're really skilled, you might... look, I even tried to hit it with an arrow there, but no damage. If you're really skilled, you might even be able to trap it into a corner of the room, and then you can just kind of like block it in the corner and then just hit it over and over and over again, and there's nothing it can do because it can't get back into the water. That's really the only way that it can attack you. Oops, hit it with my arrow instead of my long shot. Ah, no! Shoot, I took too long. Eventually, when this guy... Oh, there we go. It is possible to pull him out before he makes another water tentacle, but later in this battle, after I hit him maybe one or two more times, and after you've done enough damage, basically, he's going to be able to summon two tentacles. The one that he's going to ride in... Oh, look at that! And the other one he's going to try to hit you from behind, but our Bigorin sword does so much damage, yet another reason why I recommend getting it before this dungeon. Does so much damage that we managed to kill him before he even got to a point where he was able to pull off that double-pronged attack. But look at that. Completely dries up. It was the source of all the water in the dungeon. Ah, reduced just to a single drop of water. Sploosh. It's weird, like, in a way that almost feels gory to me. But so there's the portal down there, the exit out of the dungeon. But don't forget to grab the full heart container before entering the exit. All right, yet another dungeon down. And with the dreaded water temple out of the way, it's all downhill from here, mostly. Don't want to give you a false sense of security, but you know. Back to the Chamber of Sages again we go. Princess Rudo. I was wondering what happened to her. Jordan. I would have expected no less from the man I chose to be my husband. Zora's domain and its people will eventually return to their original state. As a reward, I grant my eternal love to you. Love his little reaction. Well, that's what I want to say, but I don't think I can offer that now. I have to guard the water temple as the Sage of Water. Aww. Shucks, that's too bad. And you're searching for the Princess Zelda. Ha! You can't hide anything from me. We're not married yet, lady. Princess Zelda. She's alive. I can sense it, so don't be discouraged. I can tell that nothing will stop you in your quest for justice and peace. You must take this medallion. Take it respectfully. That's a nice color. You received the water medallion. Rudo awakens as a sage and adds her power to yours. Excellent! One more medallion to add to the collection. If you see Sheik, please give him my thanks, okay? Ah, look at that. Now that we've broken the curse in this area here. As the water rises, the evil is vanishing from the lake. Jordan, you did it. You literally beat me to the punch as I was explaining what was happening. That's cool. The lake is all filling up again. Great. Did Ruda want to thank me? I see. We have to return peace to Hyrule for her sake too, don't we? Look at that, Jordan. Together, you and Princess Rudo destroyed the evil monster. Together? I think it was mostly me, okay? Once again, the lake is filled with pure water. All is as it was here. Doing the old ninja thing again, are we? Literally just hiding up a tree. Alright, now that the dungeon is done and the lake is filled up, we're going to do something really quick here. This isn't necessarily the only time to do this, but it's the perfect time to do this. The reason is, this sounds kind of weird, but where the sunrise is over the horizon there, and we got to be quick about this because, again, the day cycles pretty quickly in this game, as you'll recall. We want to do something right while the sun is at that specific level. Again, we can do this technically speaking at any time, any day. We just wait for the sun to naturally reach that point, and then we can accomplish this. But it just so happens that when we beat the water temple, it automatically starts us off in the right spot we want to be at while the sun is right at that position. So we're going to take advantage of that fact right here and now. So what we do is really quickly run over to this plaque here. If we read the plaque, when water fills the lake, shoot for the morning light. So now that the lake has been filled because we have defeated the evil in the water temple, we can do this. It sounds kind of abstract and seems sort of silly if you've never done this before. Like you might think, am I really doing this? This can't be right. But what you actually do want to do is stand right on this plaque, pull out your bow between those pillars there, and shoot the sun as it rises. Oh no! It didn't work! Oh no! We missed our opportunity! What the heck? We missed our opportunity! No! That can't be! I guess we've got to hit the sun like just as it's coming over the horizon again. Alright, well, no matter. We'll just switch it to nighttime, and then we'll waste a little bit of time and wait for it to be day again, because there's something else that we can actually do here at nighttime now that we have the long shot. We couldn't do this before, but let me see, we got to position ourselves just right. I think, yeah, right here, I think, right above the limb. If you target with your long shot, and we couldn't reach with our regular hook shot, but with our long shot we can jump up here, and that'll actually give us access right on top of the tree. And now that it's nighttime, we can get this gold Skulltula. So we would have wanted it to have turned night anyway. But anyway. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, what you want to do is, you'll see that those pillars are positioned such that the sun rises right between them. So we want to hit, I guess, the sun just as it comes over the horizon. Unfortunately, we can't just use the sun song here again a second time to make it day, because that will zip it to noon, which means the sun is going to be right above us. So we're going to actually have to This is annoying, but we're going to have to wait a few moments here for the sun to rise, because we want to hit it right at daybreak. Shouldn't be too long. When we used the sun song to turn it to night, it would have made it midnight, so it's only 6 hours that have to pass instead of 12. Here it comes, here it comes. As soon as the sun gets over the edge, hit it square in the middle with an arrow. Any second now. Any second. Ready? Now. Oh, wait. There we go. I guess I had to wait for the cuckoo to crow first in order to signify that it was technically day, but look at that. Whoa, what just happened there? What's that all about? Interesting. So, and now that, again, the lake is filled, we can actually swim across to this platform. We couldn't get there before. And we can grab this guy. What's this all about? Whoa, you got the fire arrow. Set it to C and your arrows will be powered up. If you hit your target, it will catch fire. That's pretty cool. Look at this. So we can select our arrows like we normally could, or we can select the fire arrow, and this happens. Not bad, eh? So it's got that little red circle around the arrow there to signify that it is charged up with the fire magic ability. So we take out our bow here, hold down, and it charges up an arrow with fire power, and we can let her loose. Look at that. Now, it's too bad that we can't set that whole tree ablaze. That would be quite a spectacle, but it's good for taking out enemies that are susceptible to fire damage. They'll take them out real easy and real quick. And you can also light single torches this way too. These fire arrows, keep in mind, they do still use up magic power, but having said that, it uses up a lot less magic power than using, say, Din's fire does. So you can conserve a little bit of power that way. Alright, what's Navi got to tell us next here? Let's look for someone who might know something about the other sages. Well, who would know something about the other sages? I think that might be Impa. Impa, we used to be able to find in the Hyrule Castle, but of course that's all gone to shit now. So if you'll recall, when we were a child, we were told that Impa was from Kakariko Village, so maybe we should try checking out Kakariko Village and see if we can maybe track down Impa and get some more information as Navi is instructing us to do so, and we will do that on next week's episode, so stay tuned till then.